one of us as black people done our best as a race in this country?
In the 1900s, I say like Reconstruction up until civil rights. That was our time. People can talk about like 1920, 30, 40, 50, 60. People can talk about racism. Okay, you're always going to have racism. You're not going to really be able to get beyond that. But aside from all of that, how are we doing? In spite of all of that, even with all of that, how are we doing as a people? One thing people point to is Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Okay, it get bombed, it get burned down. It was actually rebuilt 5 years later, and it lasted up until integration. They don't talk about that part. They talk about just the destruction and say, oh, well, we can't have anything. Yes, we can. We built that back 5 years later, and it lasted for 40 more years until we abandoned it because, okay, let's go to the white man's store instead. That's what we did.
When have we been at our worst?
Slavery.
After slavery.
After slavery, 1980s, crack.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the worst. I remember that. That time. My uncle, my dad's oldest brother died at age 36. He had HIV. And he was using intravenous heroin and also selling drugs. And then just the violence, man. You're talking about things going on right now with Chicago, New York. I mean, you had 1,000 murders a year, Chicago and New York, both, and a bunch of other places in the country. I mean, we got videos, we got TV series about it, Snowfall and BMF. All of that was going on. It was a crazy time.
Yeah, I'm 42 next week. How old are you? You're a little bit younger than me, right?
I'm 39. I'll be 40 in September.
Okay. So I remember growing up in the 90s in New York. It was a rough time. It was a really rough time. But how are we doing now?
We're doing okay.
Okay.
I'll put it to you this way. As far as all black folks in the world, every group, we're talking about Africa and South America, et cetera, we're doing the best.
Okay.
But we have some issues, and that can't really be. We're doing better than the 1980s, but we're doing worse than the 1950s.
Gotcha. What are 3 to 5 things needed to improve the race?
One thing I would do is get rid of the government dependence, the government incentives. So what's going on right now is that we got a bunch of these single parent households that are being incentivized by the government. It's no big deal when you can have 3, 4, 5 kids and have it subsidized by the government. You're not really worried about having the father. You're not really worried about being a parent. You could just produce these kids. I've heard stories, and we all know about kids that are being born just for money, just for resources, not just from the government benefits, but also from the child support system. That's something else. Family court law, that needs to get really tightened up, because if you don't have that under control, I mean, you got a lot of problems. Also, the lack of accountability when it comes to criminal justice. We think that we are being targeted unfairly by police, and that can happen sometimes. I'm not trying to discount that, but usually what happens is we get slaps on the wrist at best. Okay, little Johnny then went and shot up 15 people. Okay, he did drive-bys, it was a shooting when I was in Virginia still. It was a shooting that made the news, like right in my neighborhood. They were shooting for I felt like it was an hour. I don't know, I'm exaggerating. But on the news the next day, they were interviewing old ladies. Lady was like, I was in the kitchen cooking, the bullet went right past me, hit the microwave. I mean, stuff like that goes on, and it's not even a big deal. We'll see the newspaper, okay, this amount of people got killed in New York. This amount got killed in Chicago. This happened and that happened. And then the people that do it, slap on the wrist. You get 5 years in the penitentiary, you come right home and do the same thing over again. So we got to get that together. So family court, child support, criminal justice system, and also, what else would I add on there? I would say we got to get control of our image.
Wow.
Yeah, control of our image with the media, music, everything, entertainment, get control of our image, because what we put out there, a lot of us try to emulate. We try to be like it. And then when you get new people that come over here, oh, that's how y'all are. That's how you guys are. That's just what it is. Now, that fuels racism. You got to control our image.
You know, I never thought that ratchet culture, which I do listen to some of the music, right? But I'm not trying to emulate anything. It's just fun to listen to in the car sometimes. I never thought that ratchet culture would be the dominant culture for our women. I never thought that. I'm in shock how far it's gone.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
It's really crazy, man. And I think what's going on is that these women see how much attention these women get. So just for the attention, they want to do it. And it'll be, you wouldn't even expect women that didn't even grow up in that kind of environment. You grow up in the suburbs in 95% white school, and you want me like Sexy Red. It's like, because they see the attention she gets, they see like she's with Drake and all these guys. Okay, I want to be like that because she gets that attention. I want that attention too. And then it kind of snowballs. Then it's expected of you. If you don't behave a certain kind of way, now you're bullied. Okay, you're not ratchet, you're not with us, you're not doing this and the third. Okay, well, you're not going to be part of this friend group. Now you become isolated, and it's constant pressure on social media, through music, media, everything else, everybody telling you. So it's just right there, and then that becomes a dominant culture.
Single parent households, whose fault is it?
Single parent households, it's our fault.